What's up, peeps? Nick Battle, aka Nino's Corner, man. First off, if you like this content that is coming your way, hit that subscribe button. Means a lot, man. And if you're listening to this on a podcast and not looking at this on YouTube, hey, go check it out. Give me a 5-star comment, a review, a like, something. It means a lot. You can hit me up on Spotify. You can listen to me on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, Breaker, the whole nine. If there's a streaming platform right there for a podcast, you are going to hear Nino's Corners podcast. But first off, guys, let's give a straight shout out to my sponsor, and it's Manscaped. So, folks, it's holiday season and you don't know what to get as a gift or a stocking stuffer. Well, today's sponsor, my sponsor, Manscaped, has the tools to guarantee you win this year's stocking stuffer or white elephant competition. Manscaped is the leader in men's below the waist grooming, and they have served more than 4 million men worldwide. Get 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com with the code NinosCorner. And also, guys, I'm going to do a shameless plug here, guys. A shameless plug for Nino's Corner's clothing line, guys. So, hey, folks, get 10% off of my merchandise. To do your merchandise at NinosCornerMerch.com using the code NCPeeps10. Again, 10% off using the code NCPeeps10 at NinosCornerMerch.com. But guys, today we didn't come and talk about all that. We came to talk about the Texas NIL talk, the Clark Field Collective. The good folks at Inside Texas, also the folks at Orange Bloods and 247 Sports have all reported, folks, that we have a new initiative for NIL programs here, and it is called the Clark Field Collective. I'm going to read an excerpt, guys, from the On3 website from Inside Texas side of the house. And it basically says that prominent University of Texas donors, former Longhorn athletes and veteran sports marketeer Nick Shuley launched an 8-figure NIL program Wednesday that should become the template for deep pocketed supporters of blue blood schools nationwide. The Clarkfield Collective has secured an initial pledge commitment of $10 million for Texas NIL activities, an attention-grabbing starting figure for a program whose goal is nothing short of possessing the largest dedicated fund in the nation for college athletes. On the NIL front, consider the nationwide arms race amongst well-heeled boosters well underway. Hey guys, what does Nino think about this, man? What do I think about the NIL deals? I think this is something that is long overdue here at Texas. I think Texas should have had something like this in place as soon as we understood that we were going to have the opportunity and the ability to have NIL into college programs. This should have been something that should have happened, like I said, last year before, guys. But what it's do, this is a great game changer here for Texas in the fact that when you have a collective group of folks that is not just the business folks, not just the tech guys, you have former athletes at Texas. For I understand, Kenny Vaccaro, lifetime Longhorn, is also in this, as well as TJ Ford, a guy who, actually went to school the same time that I went to school at Texas. These guys are in this together. They're going to pitch this. They have a straight up board for this. And this is something that is not connected to Texas, folks. Texas does not run this. This is a separate entity. This is great because this is going to help not only on the recruiting front for different, football, basketball, baseball, swimming, diving, the whole nine, but it's going to help these athletes secure funds to be able to play this wonderful, these wonderful sports here at this university. I think it's a game changer, not just for the fact that Texas is doing this, because a lot of schools are doing this. I think Texas is just starting to catch up. And like I said before, this is something that I thought should have been in place a long time ago. You see schools like Oregon and what Oregon is doing with their NIL program with Phil Knight and the whole Nike situation. You're seeing stuff at Alabama. Bryce Young already securing $1 million. Ohio State, Quinn Ewers already got a $1.7 million deal before having a snap, right? So this allows us to not only have a pot of money, $10 million to start up with. And reading some of this stuff on the Inside Texas boards, this is the first of a few. And this is supposed to be the lowest dollar amount. And so if we can have this as a continual basis for a fund here for NIL activities here at Texas, this is a win-win. This is a win-win for everybody. I think this is an amazing thing that Texas is doing. This is going to help with recruiting. This is going to help with assuring that the programs remain stable. This is going to be a pitch where, let's keep it honest, guys. In most schools, the lights are kept on at the schools from the football program and the basketball program. Texas is known for their football, or has been known for their football. We have not been a team that we have wanted to be here over the past decade. Having something like this in place, an NIL program, the Clark Field Collective, is something that can entice these kids to come to Texas. Is also something that can assure that parents can send their kids here, know that they're going to get a great education at Texas, but also know that their kids are going to be taken care of with the NIL deal. Also, let's be honest, NIL is not for everybody. You got to perform. But what this can do is assure that the guys who are performing at the high school level, your top performers, those guys will have a little bit more incentive to come to your school. What does this do for the NCAA as a whole? Doors are wide open now. We see what's going on here in college football. We see that NIL deals are already here. We see that the kids have a transfer portal now where they can actually transfer one time, no penalty, and play immediately. All right. So you're seeing what is happening here. College football is essentially becoming the minor leagues for NFL, which, let's be honest, there is no minor leagues for the NFL outside of college. This is the only place where we can have a minors league for the for the NFL. Baseball has a minor league, so does hockey. But football does not. Basketball has a G League. You don't have to go to college to go into the NBA. What you can do is go to the G League for a year or go overseas and play overseas for a year and have the opportunity to still go into the league the next year without ever stepping foot on campus. Football is completely different. And this is what let's keep it real. This is what these deals are for. This is for the football teams at these major schools. Okay. Football's different in the fact that you got to be out of school, out of high school, at least 3 years. You got to either be a redshirt sophomore or a true junior to be able to you have to finish that season to be able to enter into the NFL draft. So these kids can't capitalize on their talents for those first 3 years while they're in college. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, boo hoo, these kids are getting free education. These kids are they're doing more than what I was able to do. I didn't get a free education at Texas. I didn't get a free education at Alabama. I didn't get a free education at Oregon or USC. Hey, but also you didn't have the talent to bring in a $10 million every time that your team is played on TV. You don't have the opportunity to be one of the faces of a program, and your face, your name is plastered all over billboards, and they want you to come to their school because you are a Heisman Trophy winner or a Doak Walker winner or just an All-American who is the face of a franchise. And yes, I said franchise for a reason, because these college teams are franchises, folks. Texas is a franchise, no matter how people want to say it. Alabama is a franchise. It is the only thing in that state when it comes to sports that's going to draw attention. Alabama and Auburn, but let's keep it real. Alabama is the king of that state. Okay, LSU, of course, we got the Saints and we got the Pelicans, but when it comes to just a straight college, LSU is the only Power Five college when it comes to football. So they're the ones who are getting all that talent. And these kids know that if you're born and raised in Louisiana, 9 times out of 10, you're probably going to go to LSU, or you grew up being a diehard LSU fan. So when an offer comes, you're going to go. So these coaches already know where these kids are going to go to school. But now it's time for these kids to start getting rewarded for being great. They're bringing the money into the school. There's a reason why a coach can make $10 million a year. There's a reason why we have new buildings erected across the whole campus when it comes to any school. There's a reason why the stadium gets built. It's because boosters put in money because of the product that is on the field, on like this product that is on the football field. You look at Texas, for instance, the South End Zone. We got a huge project with the South End Zone. Boosters put in money for that because they want this program to be one of the top tier top tier programs in the country. Boosters put in a lot of money at the Bamas, the Auburns, the LSUs, the USCs, the Ohio States, the Michigans. Why? The OUs also. Why? Because they want their programs to be top tier and top notch. And if a booster can put that much money into a program, how come these kids can't start getting a little bit of love? I'm all for it. I love the Clarkfield Collective. I think this is something that is way overdue. I've been preaching this forever. I am all for the players. I think the players should have been getting paid a long time ago. And for everybody that says that, they get a free education. Look, let's be honest. These kids, when they play sports, there is not the best opportunity for you to go be an engineering major. Too many hours in the football field. It's hard to go be a business major. It's hard to go be a scientist. It's hard. The amount of hours, the amount of time that they have to put in to become great at the sport that we want them to be great at because we want our teams to be amazing. It's very hard, folks. That's a full-time job to be in that football field. It is. I remember my time at Texas. I was the RA for a bunch of football players, and these guys got up just as early as I did. I'm in the Air Force, guys. So I used to have to get up in the morning and go to PT in the morning. They were up before me. I used to get home late from going to go study. I'm an engineering major. I went studied, had to do Air Force stuff, drills and marching and everything. And you get home late from after studying, going to the engineering labs. And these guys are coming back from film study after me. So just think, where's the time to do the work? Where's the time? That's why I love this Texas NIL, the Clark Field Collective. This is something that this school has been needing for a while. It's going to assist these kids. And guess what? When these kids can actually start to get paid, now guess what you can do? You might have a kid who can go major in whatever he wants to major in because he might actually stay 4 years now because he's getting some financial assistance from NIL activities and he's able to make some money. Maybe he can go finish his degree before going to the league and then having to come back in the summers and finish a degree. Maybe a guy like, let's say, for instance, we're Texas, right? So I'm going to talk about Bijan Robinson. Maybe a guy like Bijan Robinson, who pretty much everybody was sure Bijan's probably going to leave after next year. He's just too great of a talent. But maybe a guy like him, if he said, you know what, I'm enjoying this and I'm making some pretty damn good money here with my NIL deals. Let me stay a fourth year. I might want to chase the Heisman. Or we're on the cusp. We're that close to getting a championship. What if I want to stay in, try to chase that? If Texas is in that position, I think we're a couple years off, maybe more than a couple years off. But if we were to escalate that and expedite that process, then this gives kids the option and the opportunity to stay in college a little bit longer. Makes the game better. Makes the game better. We all enjoy seeing Peyton Manning here for next year, right? We all enjoyed seeing Andrew Luck in college for an extra year. We did. It's something special about seeing a guy come here for a fourth year, right? We love to see Colt McCoy. He was here, for his time. I would have loved to have seen Vince Young here for one more year. I would have loved it. Think if NIL was there, and let's say Vince is getting paid $5 or $6 million a year from NIL deals, which is not an exaggeration considering the talent, and that they had just won a championship in the 05-06 season. And let's say Vince is getting $4 or $5 million a year in NIL money, and Vince has the option to go or leave, and he says, you know what? I want to say go or leave. It's the same thing. Go or stay. And he goes, you know what? I'm going to stay because I think we can do it again. Who wouldn't want to see another season of Vince Young? Who wouldn't? So as much as people want to say that this NIL activity might be harming college football, and it might for the schools that cannot compete with the amount of money and revenue that are coming into these big time schools, these big time Power Fives. But let's keep it honest. Let's keep it funky, right? A 5-star kid is not going to go to Louisiana Monroe. And I'm not saying nothing bad about Louisiana Monroe. I'm from Shreveport, Louisiana. That's right down the street. I got a cousin that's at ULM right now. He's doing great things right now. A 5-star kid's not going there. 5-star kid is usually not going to go to Louisiana Tech. They're going to go to LSU. So those guys they're not going to get to that level anyway. All right. But still, there might be some NIL deals down there in Ruston, Louisiana, where these guys can be in the billboard down there and make a couple $1,000s a month without having to go to work. Their job is playing football. They can sign some autographs and make a few $100. Something, they can have a football camp in the summer. If a kid's from Shreveport, Louisiana, my hometown, but he goes to Louisiana Tech or ULM or ULL or Grambling or Southern, and they want to hold a football camp to make some money, they can do that. This is great. This is great. I think this is going to help college football, guys. I do. Maybe kids are going to get paid. A lot of kids have been getting paid already before NIL ever came about. You've seen the Pony Express. You've seen SMU. So it is what it is. We've heard Charles Barkley talk about the SEC. We have definitely heard that. But let me know in the comments what you think about this. What do you think about the Texas NIL talk, the Clark Field Collective? What do you think about that? I absolutely love it. I think it's something that's been well overdue. These players have been getting paid a long time. They should have been getting paid legally a long time ago. And now it is their time. This is opportunity for kids to earn some money while they're playing the sport. These kids can't have jobs when they're playing these sports. You know why? Because their job is their sport. They have tons of hours when it comes to practice, film study, more practice, conditioning. They get all that. And they don't get an opportunity to actually major in something that I majored in. It's hard to be a football player majoring in engineering. That's the exception and not the rule. It's hard for a football player to be in football and major in business. It's hard for a football player to play football and be a scientist. Those guys are the exception and not the rule. And maybe something like this can help change that, change it around to where a kid can actually stay here longer than what we thought they were going to stay here and do great things on the football field as well as off the football field. But on that note, guys, it's time to get out of here, man. How I always tell you guys, do you like the headsets, man? Don't be afraid to fail out. Grow your environment, understand your brilliance, and go support Manscaped, guys. Manscaped.com. Use the promo code NinosCorner at Manscaped.com, 20% off and free worldwide shipping. On that note, guys, do you? I'm out. Peace.